This shit ain't for kids, bruh. What up, everyone? It's your boy XManny87 here, bringing you another Marvel Legends video, and what I have for you today is the Marvel Legends X-Men Age of Apocalypse Wave Sugarman Build-A-Figure series, Kyle Gibney, aka Wildchild action figure review. Before I get into everything, if you could please leave a thumbs up, like rating on the video, it'll help show your support for my channel and I greatly appreciate it. Be sure to check out my X-Men action figure review as I'm giving away an X-Men figure. Full details are in that review. Now, with that said, I'm going to hit you with that 1-2 punch of XManny87 story time, and then we'll take a close look at Wildchild. Kyle Gibney, aka Wildchild, was created by John Byrne and first appeared in a cameo in Alpha Flight Volume 1, Issue Number 1 in 1983, then fully appeared in Alpha Flight Volume 1, Issue 11 in 1984. A former member of Alpha Flight, Gamma Flight, and X-Factor in Earth 616, however, in Earth 295 Age of Apocalypse reality, Wildchild was Sabretooth's partner. Sabretooth kept him on a leash to prevent him from attacking other X-Men. This version is more feral than his Earth 616 counterpart, which makes him not capable of speech. He proves his heroic duties by relaying important information from a fallen Sabretooth to the X-Men by licking Rogue as she can absorb his memories. After the original AOA run, his status went unknown for a long time. He was later on recruited by Quentin Quire into his Exiles team. He resurfaced a decade after Apocalypse's fall when X-Force from Earth 616 traveled to the AOA reality to find that a new Apocalypse emerged and a select few of Magneto's X-Men are left. He was killed gruesomely by Archangel being cut in half. As for powers, Wildchild has healing factors, superhuman smell, sight, hearing, speed, agility, reflexes, endurance, berserker strength, and animal control in which he can communicate with wolves. In other media merchandise, he was part of the vintage Toy Biz X-Men Age of Apocalypse line packed in with Sabretooth. Wildchild was originally supposed to be packed in with Sabretooth in the Marvel Legends Giant Man Build-A-Figure wave, but was shelved due to economic reasons. Now finally, Wildchild has made his first debut in this Marvel Legends Sugarman Build-A-Figure wave. Fun fact, in X-Men 2 X-Men United, Wildchild's name is listed in William Stryker's files on Lady Deathstrike's computer. Wildchild has appeared in a total of 570 issues. Now to take a close look at Wildchild, this is another great head sculpt from the wave. I mean, it is just outstanding, and I really like how they captured that feral type of nature of the character, and wow, just from the fangs you can see they look really sharp and pointy. They're painted well on mine. Unfortunately, around the mouth there's a little scuffage, so that's kind of annoying, but you get some really good purple eyeshadow. It's hard to see because with all these bangs. So moving the bangs out the way, you can see he has like purple eyeshadow around. It looks crazy. I really dig the look, and he has silver eyes. Again, I don't know what's up with them putting silver eyes again like they did with the Morph, who I just previously reviewed. The bangs on the hair are attached to the hair sculpt, so it's not part of the head. But when you lift this, like, you can move all the bangs out of the way except for this one right here. The top one is actually glued to his forehead, so that's an interesting choice. But yeah, the eyeshadow looks great, especially when you could get some shadow surrounding it. It just makes them look more menacing. The bangs are attached to the hair sculpt, so it's good that it's not a separate piece on the forehead. And you can move all the bangs out of the way, except for the middle one right here. It is actually glued to his forehead, you see that? So, I mean, whoops, I just removed it. But yeah, it's definitely glued. You can see you get like a glue spot right there. Well, let me put that back into place. He does have a lot of wrinkles on his forehead. They gave him some crazy bushy eyebrows, so really cool. And you got his beard on the sides, very Sabretooth looking like. Just overall, I just love this head sculpt. And you have the hair sculpt flowing back, so that's really cool if you want to get him into some lunging poses. And looking at the back of the hair, again, really cool. And his ears are kind of creepy shaped looking too. Looking at the rest of the body, he's got this collar right here, painted in a nice brown, got some cool texturing there. And got these silver bolts going around. And when you go to the back, there's only one accessory, which is the chain that's attached to this piece right here. It is detachable. This chain is really long, but I do love the sculpting on it. I think it came out real good. And then you see this right here. You see these loops. Come on, man. This is basically confirming we're gonna get an AOA Sabretooth. They can't just give us Wildchild and not give us Sabretooth. So I already knew once I saw these loops that this is gonna wrap around Sabretooth's forearm, and oh man, that is gonna look so epic when we get that and putting the pair together. But yeah, taking a closer look at the chain, has this nice shiny kind of silver paint to it. That's the end. These are the loops. But yeah, I dig it. Totally dig it. And then you could just put this back on Wildchild. And man, this really made me wish though we got a real chain link instead of a plastic one. So whenever Sabretooth does come out, I'm definitely going to set up a real chain link. I think it would just look overall better and more realistic. But if you don't go that route, this is still a great piece to display. And man, this chain looks really dope with Ghost Rider. How dope is this? And I would love to see this piece remade using like a translucent color like this one to make it look like it's on fire. Oh, that would be awesome. And as for the rest of the body, not much else going on. He's in this orangey mustard color kind of skin tight bodysuit. And it's a reuse of the Lasher body mold from the Spider-Man Lizard Build-A-Figure wave. So along with the body, he has the same hands and the same feet. Taking a closer look, it's exactly the same costume from the AOA comics. And man, I can't wait for them to go pinless because this pin right here is bulging out real bad, and it looks like he has a freaking tumor or something. You know, on this side is not so bad, but this one is definitely bulging out. But you get the sleeve coming down and it ends right here on the top of the hand. Then they painted his claw-like nails in white. Then looking down onto the legs, I feel like the hips right here are a little darker in color tone, and then you get those pizza Spidey legs that are bow-legged as hell. Then he has these crazy looking feet with the sharp toenails painted in white and peg holes. The figure might move when moving the chain around, so just make sure you kind of hold them and then you know, move the chain however you like. Now to cover articulation with Wildchild, his head moves that far up, which this collar piece attached to the chain, it might hinder his head movement, but honestly I think it's a good range still. His head moves that far down, it swivels, and he's got some really good head tilt. His arms move that far up and down, it rotates around. You got the butterfly shoulder joint, you got the shoulder swivel, bicep swivel, double jointed elbows that bend in that far, so really good. Wrist swivel and a wrist hinge. His ab crunch moves only that far down, which this is my biggest problem because if I want to pose him with Sabretooth, I want him as hunched over as possible to lean on his shoulder. So this feels like it's not the right body type to do that, because I want to take pictures of him mounted on Sabretooth's shoulders. I mean, I'll reserve judgment and wait until that figure comes out to test it, but I feel the best option for display is this being wrapped around Sabretooth's arm. Then he moves that far back, so that's good for lunging poses. You got a waist swivel, then his legs move that far apart. Wish we got a full split with this guy. And his legs kick up very high, and it moves that far back, so you could get a weird frontward split. Upper thigh rocks around, you got the thigh swivel, double jointed knees, and heel to the Wildchild butt. Then you have his ugly ass feet that move that far up, that far down, and then all around ankle rockers. And now for some comparisons, here is Wildchild next to the Earth 616 Sabretooth. And I'm okay with this body choice for Wildchild since he's 5'8", being short and lanky, but it doesn't look good next to this Sabretooth. If you saw my New York Toy Fair interview video with Hasbro, I asked Dwight Stahl about the Omega Red body for revisiting characters like Sabretooth and Venom, and he did tell me that they were perfect candidates and that it would look perfect for an AOA Sabretooth. So I think he teased us with what's to come. Here he is next to the Holocaust Build-A-Figure, and we definitely need an updated version since this one is outdated with articulation. Here he is next to Blink. Here he is next to Skullbuster and other Reavers that I kit bashed. Here he is next to Morph. And along with Morph, finally, here he is next to his fellow wave mates. Alright, and now to wrap things up, my final rating is a reserved 7.5 out of 10. Why a reserved rating? Because once we get an AOA Sabretooth to pair him up with, that's going to skyrocket his fun factor and replay value with shelf display options, photography, etc., which will make me increase my rating for him. For right now, I don't feel that fun factor because I don't have an AOA Sabretooth. Kinda made me wish that Sabretooth was in this wave or in a 2-pack together. I feel that a double diaphragm joint is a necessity to a character like this, especially a character that stays naturally hunched over. I will say that this figure is a must buy if you are into team completions, duos, etc., etc. Mainly because once the AOA Sabretooth figure is revealed and released, everybody is going to be gunning after this guy, so don't get beat because then it'll become harder to track down and scalpers will most likely sell this guy paired up with Sabretooth for a higher price point. If you don't like or have any attachments to the AOA story arc, then I understand if you'll pass. But I'm talking to my true collectors and X-Men fans out there that I don't want them to regret not picking this guy up. Other than that, a great head sculpt and one of the few figures to have an accessory in the wave. He looks like he was ripped out of the comic pages, so I'm with it. Now I kick it back to you guys. What do you guys think of this Wildchild figure? Does this figure make you more anticipated for an AOA Sabretooth figure? It sure does for me. Comment below, let me know. That was my review. Please follow me on Instagram if you haven't already. Link is in the description below. Get your Marvel Legends X-Men Age of Apocalypse figures at Big Bad Toy Store. Link is in the description below. Check out my website, xman87.com, to view my photo gallery and merchandise. Hit the notification bell so you always know when my videos are up. Share and subscribe if you're new. Enjoy the pics at the end of the video. See you on the next review. Peace, peace.